Interior Minister Nancy Faeser said that she banned the Islamic Centre as it was promoting Islamist extremist totalitarian ideology in Germany, and that this Islamist ideology is opposed to human dignity, women's rights, an independent judiciary, and our democratic government.
In recent decades, Germany has taken serious measures to address the rising worries about religious extremism tied to certain Islamic organizations. One of the most noteworthy instances is the recent crackdown on Hamburg's Blue Mosque. This is no ordinary mosque. It is one of the country's oldest and biggest. However, the mosque, along with the Shia Muslim organization that operates it, the Islamic Centre of Hamburg, ICH, has come under fire for its ties to the terrorist group Hezbollah and the propagation of extreme views.
They support a radical form of Islam and reject democracy and freedom. Salafists. It's one of the fastest growing branches of Islam in Germany. That's what the Federal Domestic Intelligence Service says.
The German government, in a widely publicized action, opted to close the Blue Mosque. The decision was not taken in isolation. Germany's Interior Ministry said that the mosque was part of a larger network, with subdivisions distributed over 53 places around the nation. These activities were part of a larger strategy aimed at combating Islamist extremism throughout the country. But before we get into this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the most recent updates.
In November, the Germans said they established a direct link between the Islamic Centre of Hamburg and Hezbollah, and that is what led to the raid now. That evidence has not been made public.
So, what really happened? The Interior Ministry emphasized that their measures were not against Islam per se, but rather a necessary response to what they saw as extremist elements within the faith. They emphasized that the Islamic Centre of Hamburg was behaving in ways that plainly contradicted Germany's constitutional principles. According to the ministry, the organization promoted dictatorial ideologies and anti-Semitism, and supported entities such as Hezbollah, which are globally recognized as terrorist organizations.
In 2011, German authorities knew of about 3,800 Salafists in the country. 3 years later, that number was 7,000. And by 2017, it was 10,800. That's almost a trebling in 7 years.
It's important to remember that this isn't the first time the Blue Mosque and its management organization have faced scrutiny. For years, German spy services have been keeping track of their activities. The government's measures today represent a substantial turn towards direct involvement. In addition to the raid on the Hamburg Mosque, police conducted operations in Berlin, Frankfurt, and Munich, targeting additional mosques and connected buildings. Interior Minister Nancy Faeser made it plain that the drive was aimed at isolating extremist groups while drawing a clear line between regular Muslim residents and those engaged in extreme activities. She said, "We are not acting against a religion," emphasizing that the government's measures are directed primarily at individuals promoting a radical ideology that contradicts democratic norms, women's rights, and human decency.
In full view of television cameras, Germany's police raided this mosque in Hamburg. The German government says it's a front for Iran. The Interior Ministry says the organization has 5 subdivisions in 53 locations across Germany, collectively known as the Islamic Centre Hamburg, or IZH. The Interior Ministry goes on to say it's not a charitable organization, but a direct front for the Supreme Leader of Iran. The case has even prompted a response from the Interior Minister.
However, Iran has forcefully objected to Germany's activities. Tehran summoned the German ambassador, describing the raids as Islamophobia, and warned of increased sectarian tensions. Iran's official news agency branded the crackdown as unfriendly, accusing Germany of promoting religious conflict with such actions. While the Islamic Centre of Hamburg has denied any connections to extremism, its long-standing associations with organizations and ideas outside of Germany have aroused concerns for years. Indeed, German intelligence agencies have been monitoring the Blue Mosque since 1993. It was legally classified as an Iranian regime vehicle in 2017, adding to concerns that it was used as a basis for radical influence in Germany. The anxiety around this subject only grew following the Hamas assaults on Israel in October of last year, which prompted a widespread campaign in Germany to crack down on any signs of Islamist radicalism.
In 2012, a group of Islamists in Germany were caught planning a bomb attack in Bonn. At least one of the group had Salafist connections. Salafists have taken to German town centers, preaching and handing out the Quran for free. In 2016, the Interior Minister banned the group that had organized those giveaways.
Investigations into the Islamic Centre started in earnest in November, with police raiding locations associated with the organization. German officials discovered enough evidence to determine that the center was secretly striving to foment an Islamic revolution inside the nation, all while projecting a public picture of tolerance and peace. This deception has prompted the administration to adopt a harsh position, one of the most forceful seen in recent years. This episode has triggered a larger discussion regarding the balance between national security and civil freedoms. Critics say that Germany's approach may be too harsh, particularly when discriminating between radical ideology and genuine religious expression. There is increasing worry that the government is over-policing the Muslim population, particularly given the increase in anti-Semitic events throughout the nation. According to reports, anti-Semitic hate crimes will rise by 83% in 2023, putting even more pressure on authorities to act.
Salafist stronghold in Germany, the western state of North Rhine-Westphalia. It's thought there are about 3,000 Salafist supporters here. The regional intelligence agency classifies 800 of them as prone to violence.
Germany has also been criticized for its position on the continuing Gaza war. Some claim that the government has not always made a clear distinction between criticism of Israel's behavior and open racism or religious intolerance. The recent resignation of Sabine Doring, Germany's junior minister for higher education, after her ministry decided to defund academics who criticized the government's crackdown on anti-Israeli rallies, underscores the sensitivity of the situation. While the closure of the Blue Mosque is an important step in Germany's fight against terrorism, it raises concerns about the long-term implications on the country's relationship with its Muslim minority. Germany argues that this step is not an assault on Islam. Still, the reaction from Iran and internal concerns signal that this is just the beginning of a bigger debate about the role of religion, radicalism, and national security in contemporary Europe.
It's now certain that the Islamic Centre Hamburg acts and is directed against our constitutional order. That is why we are applying one of the sharpest weapons of our law to ban this organisation. This is a further consequent step against Islamist extremism.
In conclusion, Germany's strong steps against the Blue Mosque and the Islamic Centre of Hamburg are part of a larger plan to combat religious extremism. As tensions escalate, especially with foreign players such as Iran intervening, the issue remains. How far should a government go in combating extremism without alienating its religious communities? Please share your ideas in the comments box below. And remember to subscribe to be informed on this growing topic.